Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is the Monday painting video. What is the Monday painting video and what's it all about? Well, the Monday painting video, I paint a model or models voted on by you guys from last week's Weekly Wednesday, which is a weekly Q&A. I show you guys a host of models and you vote on them, and whichever wins the vote gets painted in today's video. Or in the event of a tie, I do a dice roll. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a minute. Right, so with 2 votes apiece, we have the Night Goblin Shamen. It's a very old lead model. So amazing detail on that, even though it's an old lead model. And we have Azrael. Amazing sculpt. So there's 2 votes apiece, so D6 roll. 1 to 3, 4 to 6. 2. So it's going to be the Goblin. So I'm going to get wet palette ready and I'll see you in a second, guys. Before I run you through the wet palette, let's take a moment to look at this fantastic sculpt. Considering it's an old lead model, it's a very lovely sculpt. I'm not saying the stuff that comes now is worse. This is actually fantastic. I've just realised there's a face on his dagger handle. I didn't realise that was there. Right, so on my wet palette, I have some Goblin green, which is an old paint because it's a retro model. I thought I'd go with that. But also, for me, it's a reliable green for Goblin flesh and all flesh. We have some lead belcher, we have some Screaming Skull, we have some Gothica brown, and we have some Mephiston red. So I think the first thing to do really is start by picking out all of his skin. So I'm trying to get his skin without getting the teeth on his face. Already that's just absolutely just popped off really well. So about the helicopter going overhead. Get his little ears. I'm going to go off camera and do the rest of his skin, but already he says popped off really well. So now I think that's all his skin. He only seems to have one ear exposed for some reason. So now I'm going to go with some Gothica brown and I'm going to pick out like the staff. It's a nice brown to get the staff with because I'm going to come over it and just with darker brown dry brush it. The thing I like about these staffs, see if I can get it, see the lines going down it, so there is some texture onto it even though you don't see it until you start dry brushing it, but yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I don't think there's nothing else wooden on him. No, so I'm going to finish off just touching that up and then I'll come back for the next colour. Right, so now I'm going to grab some Screaming Skull, and he has lots of skulls on him. So I'm going to give them a quick once over with some Screaming Skull. I'm not too worried if I hit the ropes or anything like that because there's going to be, you can easily come over and just give it a tidy up with something else afterwards. He's also got some bones hanging out and horns hanging out of his hat there. So I'm going to get those. I'm delighted the old rod's coming back. Not too impressed with I like the Batonia models, don't get me wrong. I think they're all very cool, but my problem is, and I'll probably go over this again Weekly Wednesday, but My problem is there's a lot of the older models that are still the same. They should be resculpting them really with the sculpting technology they have now. And a few things they've decided to do is resin, which I think is a very bad idea. I think they should avoid the resin. You'll have people that buy it, don't get it wrong, because they want it on their army. But I just think it shouldn't be, it should just be plastic only and just job done. Right. So one thing I'm going to do now actually is I'm going to catch this face on the weapon, because I want to come in with a yellow one here, because he's bad moons. Or night goblins or whatever so not bad moons, that's okay. He's a night goblin, but he has a moon on his, so I want to give that a really nice sharp yellow. His armour is his outfit is a little bit hard to distinguish. He's a shaman, so he's not going to have heavy armour on himself, but he does have metal boots. So So I'm actually going to come in with the lead belcher now and just pick out things like his blade on his weapon. Anything else I think is going to be metal. So he has these little boots on his feet. So I'm trying to work out what that is on his chest. You can see like a little gong thing there. Probably like a little medallion bit, but it's not really that much hanging off of him there. One thing I do need to do is I do need to break the cloak up a bit, because he's Night Goblin Shaman, he has a black cloak, basically. Robes and all that sort of stuff. It's not cloak, so robes and hood and all that. But I do need to break that up. So what I thought of breaking it up is the Mephiston red. And the way that I'm going to do that, I'm just going to get this shoulder piece. So that's really going to break it up away from the rest of the model. And it's going to look absolutely fantastic, because it's going to contrast everything. You can already see that this model's popping off. Just popping off. Just that simple red on the back of the... Don't make the whole thing, just that simple one red there. I'm actually going to come in with Mephiston red on the wings on this as well, just to make that pop off even more and really stand out from the rest of the model. And normally I will just show you, I'm going to do this, do that, and then get on with it, because I like to spend more time with the at the end, towards the end of the video, I'm just taking it beyond battle ready. But this guy's not going to be, there's not going to be much to do beyond battle ready on this guy. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Right, so I've chucked some Retributor armour on the wet palette. I'm just going to come in and get his little bagel on his bangle, sorry, not bagel. It's not bagel, something you eat, you idiot. His bangle on his wrist. just again, this just breaks up all of this area here. These are night goblins, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just break up a little bit. Now I'm going to come in with some white scars. Of course, we're just going to touch up these skulls. Give them a nice little tidy up. So I didn't realise it was out of focus then. The white scars is a low paint set, will go on bright and dull itself down, same as Screaming Skull. So if you're using it for the first time, don't panic, guys. Because you can always going to go back over again here and there if you need to. Here's what we have now. So now what I'm going to do, get the horns a little bit as well. And the little bone that sticks through his hood. But now what I'm going to do, change the brush to a better brush with a sharper point. What I'm going to do is some white scars on the brush. We're going to come in, I'm going to dry brush the teeth without knocking the camera up. Excuse me. I feel that sneeze coming. I was trying to get this done before it came on. Oh yeah. Right, so the only thing is we really have to do now, I need to get a nice sharp yellow, which I think the sharpest yellow is a layer paint yellow. We need to get colour for here. And I'm thinking about this, his cloths, his robes and stuff. I might have to get some black contrast paint out. I'm not sure. Back in a second, guys. Right, so I've got some Uriel yellow on the wet palette. It's a layer paint. I'm going to come in and I'm going to just do this moon that's on his hilt of his sword. So as it's a layer paint, it will go on bright and dull itself down. Already it's really standing out, which is nice. Now the next colour I've got on the white palette is this one. You're going to try and pronounce that, but I've got the airbrush version of it. So I'm going to just paint the little pouch that hangs off of him. The reason I'm painting the pouch that colour is to really contrast everything else. So now when you look at this model, straight away you see the banner. Then you see the teeth and the moon and the skin, and then you start picking up the other little details, like, you know, the staff in his hand, and, you know, it's got a little bit of silver stuff going on his armor, and there's bones hanging out of his helmet and his hood, and, you know, all that sort of stuff, which is great. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I got some Abaddon black, excuse me, but the airbrush paint, and I'm going to come in, because there's some, see a little bit of silver hanging off his, I'm going to get in there and just give that a, actually, oh, you're such a genius. That purple I just showed you and the Abaddon black, I'm going to mix some together on my wet palette. Give me a purpley black. And I'm going to come in and just paint that across all this. That should, as it dries off, gives me a nice purpley black instead of just a pure black. And I've only just seen that by accident because I had some on the brush as I started painting away. I was like, oh, let's give that a go. Such a happy accident. Don't know if the purple's coming through that much. I can see hints of it here and there, but nothing too serious. If it comes through, it comes through. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. It's not a big loss. Now I've got some more flame brown. I'm going to pick that. I'm going to come in and just pick out the rope and this rope. A little bit of rope on the bone there. Now you can see that's really popping off. So many different colours that catch your eye and you go, oh, what am I looking at? Now I'm going to come in with some Flanix yellow. And I'm going to come back to the moon, but I'm just going to try and pick out the highest points. Now Flanix yellow is another layer of paint, so it will go on bright and dull itself down. And there's one more thing to do before I take it to the next level. There's a few things to do to take it beyond Battle Ready Standard. I'm going to go back to the Mephiston Red. And this is the joyful part now. Let's get into these eyes. There we go. Some of you that were saying, what did I do there? I took the brush, I put the end of the brush against my finger there. Okay, so let me just grab this model here. So if I wanted to come in to do the eyes, my finger is touching the model first, and then I can line up my finger. Yeah, so if I want to get the eyes there, I can come in like this and just come in and get the eye. Yeah, that's the best way to do eyes. Is to, the other way to do it is to do a stripe going across and then tidy up on the face afterwards. Especially if you're doing like demons or goblins or something like that that doesn't have a pupil, just have one colour eyeball. Now, so I'm going to do that to dry for a minute. I'm going to come back to you then for the, well, for all intensive purposes, this little mother trucker is battle ready. So I'm actually going to give him a minute to dry, then I'm going to take him beyond battle ready standard. So those of you that are new to the channel, and new to the hobby and everything else, when you take, say, this is battle ready standard, what that means is I can put them on the table and away we go. When you take it beyond battle ready standards, what you're doing is you're adding more details to it. This could be a dry brush, an edge highlight, a wash, a combination of, you know, a lot of things. You could edge highlight it, wash it, then dry brush it afterwards, you know, any sort of combination like that. could even come in, say like with the purple, then coming out with like a very light purple and just tidy it up a little bit more and just give it a little bit more definition. So I'm going to let it dry for a minute and I'm going to come back to you then, take it beyond battle ready standards. Right, I don't think there's much more to do on this model. So what I'm going to start with, I've taken some Mornifying Brown, mixed it with some white on the wet palette. I'm going to take some on the brush, onto a bit of tissue. I'm going to just dry brush, just to give this wood a bit of definition. It does make it pop up a little bit, not too sad though. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take some Loughern Blue onto the wet palette, onto a bit of tissue. And I'm going to give this a little dry brush. It's still a little bit wet, but it doesn't matter. That's essentially a wet blend. So what that means is I've taken one colour and I've put it onto another colour that's still wet, and it blends them both together. It's giving me a lovely, lovely colour that is. That's the last thing I was going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of Screaming Skull, because everything looks better with a Screaming Skull dry brush, onto the tissue, and I'm going to come along and just try and get this about knocking the camera, you idiot. That looks kind of cool. Very simple. Now I'm going to get some white scars. And I hit these wings, the white scars, just to really don't panic, because white scars again is a layer paint, so it will go on bright and dye itself down. So now what I'm going to do is take some more of that Phoenix yellow, mix it with some white scars to make it really bright. Oh my, that is really bright. And they're both layer paints. So what I'm going to do then is just come in and get the topmost areas around the mouth and the face. So it just really stands out even more. Now it is going to dull itself down, so I might have to do a second. No, probably won't actually. That actually looks pretty cool. Now, so what I could do with that, once that's dry, is come in with like a shade. Just chuck it in the teeth there to make it really pop out even more. I'm not going to do that, because there's a point when you're painting models, and a lot of you will know. I'm aiming this towards the new people to the hobby and new people painting and stuff, where you get carried away with the model and you start adding more and more and more, and it gets to a point where you go, I've done too much. You have to know when to say, no, that's fine. Now, when you do that, 2 days time, 3 days time, you go, this is still, nagging at me. I want to try this on it. And then you come back to it with a clearer head, rather than in the moment you're just painting. I'm really pleased with this guy. I think it's come out very, very well. Actually, it's actually good to get a fantasy model off the pile of shame. I like the little bit of the back there. I think that's come out absolutely fantastic. I like the face. It says, see the white bit across the nose there, and the really defines it. Just really pops off. So thank you for voting, guys. Thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button because it costs you absolutely nothing. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything. And everyone smash the thumbs up button so it triggers YouTube to share this video with more and more people and helps this community grow even bigger. If you vote for something and it didn't win this week, don't panic because it all has to be painted. Okay, tune in on weekly Wednesday, this weekly Wednesday, for the next vote to see what gets painted up next week. I'm going to bring you down and show you a few pretty pictures. I don't think the camera with this light is doing it any justice. Pretty pictures, I can actually get better pictures of it. Guys, thank you for watching. Hit the buttons for me. Until next time, take it easy.